I've got a pretty white card with just a pop of color, and I love this kind of background because you can use up all your little bits, so it's really efficient too. Let me show you what we'll be using. We have the Queen Anne's lace from our finishing touches. Going to be sorting those into the Hobnail vase. And I've created some frames using the Noble Dies double pierced ovals, both the original set and the set B. Right, pop those to the side. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the background. So what I've done is I've covered a piece of coconut white card with a sticky adhesive sheet, and it is 5 by 6 3/4. And what I'm going to do is just get a top of this peeled back. There we go. We can even do a little bit at a time here. I'll just fold it. And I've just gone into my scrap box and picked out some Aqua, Wisteria, and some, this looks like blue dust card here. So we're just going to start by cutting strips. And I think these are about 3/4 of an inch wide. Yes, they are. Just going to pop them across, line it up with the top. There we go. And I'm just going to alternate. Put the Aqua down, then just edge the Wisteria right up next to that. Do the blue dusk. I'm not so worried about the sides. I'm just going to try and keep them close to each other in the middle there. Fold that down just a little more. Use the Aqua next. Get them nice and flat. Pick the Wisteria up. Pop that into place and just kind of keep them as tight as you can next to each other. And blue dusk. Start back over with my Aqua. Wisteria. And blue dusk, and that should finish it off for us. So now we've used up a little bit of our extra bits and bobs of paper, and we've got a nice pretty background for our thing. So these are extra. We aren't going to be using those. So I've gone ahead and I've cut the frames. Now, you'll notice that these have the piercing on them, and they're very close together. When you have an A set and a B set, there's an 1/8 inch difference. Whereas if you just use, say, the A set alone or the B set alone, there'd be a 1/4 inch difference between them. So they cut the in-between sizes. So now I'm going to go ahead and seat my frame over my background. I've added my mounting foam to the back here. And also around the edges. You always want to get it right around that aperture so it doesn't get saggy. Pop that right over the top. Okay, so I'm also going to create a little bit bigger of a background for this. So I've got a piece of coconut white card that is 6 1/3 by 8 1/8 actually. So get all the little bits off of that. Bring in my double-sided tape, and I'm going to line the edges. And I always pull off more than I need, so I can grab a hold of it and have a little finger hold on either side of it. Pop that down as close as you can. Now, if you're off just a little bit, you can trim, so don't worry about that too much. Pop these two. In fact, I'm going to turn that over. I've got something on there, so I'll try and get that to the back. Oops, right there. Pick that up, and I'm going to do the other two sides a little bit longer. You can also use offcuts from your self-adhesive sticky sheets, but you'll want to take the liner off each time so that they can overlap. Let's do this last side here. Here we go. Just run your finger across it a little bit and make sure it touches. So I'm going to get underneath there and trim away the extra bit. Take our scissors. Grab all those little bits on that side, and then I like to turn it over and use the edge of the card and go the other way. There we go. Okay. I'm going to bring in a bit of copy paper here, and we're going to use our ice snow. This is the larger pot, so I'm just going to pour it along the bottom, sort of tap it off, and then you can just burnish it into the tape a little bit more. I missed a little spot there. Burnish that in, because a lot of this can be taken back off. You don't want to waste it. Just pop some more on there. And do this last little edge here. Burnish all of that. Take off all your extra. Don't need to waste that. And let's see if I can get that back into the container. There we go. Looks pretty good. Set that to the side. So I'm going to bring in my backing. I've done just a white on white. Take all our extra little bits off. Add this in first. Line that up in the inside frame of my piercing there. There we go. And we can go back in, set this up with the frame that we did. Go ahead and add some glue around the inside of that. It's already got mounting foam, so it sits up a little bit. So you've got a nice little step down detail coming out. Right, so next what we're going to do, I'm going to let that set up for a second. We're going to create the vase. Now I've gone ahead and I've cut out the hobnail vase. I've added a little amount of mounting foam to the back. And I'm just going to add my pieces in. And what I've done is I've taken the Queen's Anne lace as it's been cut, and I've done a little bit of embossing, and I've just added bits of glue around, very randomly around the top, hitting some of that embossing, just like that. You can bring over the ice snow and literally just tip it in there. So what you get is a beautifully decorative detail, and when that dries, it's very, very shiny, so you have some really lovely bling to it like that. So I'll go ahead and use the ones that have dried. And I think the easiest way to approach this is to start with the bottom ones and do your smaller ones, and we're just going to have them kind of peeking out from the top of the vase. So these three, about like that, maybe a little bit off to the edge. And I'm just having them onto the back of the mounting foam, catching them right there. So you can kind of play with them. You can pull them off and just sort of put them where you want them. And then we can build it up, and I'm going to go in with a couple of the taller, sort of medium-sized ones. You have 3 different sizes in your set. Pop that there. Maybe one going across like that. There we go. And the larger ones, we're just going to do a couple of these coming up off the top, I think. Catch those. About like this. So you can decide and move them around once you've got them into place. I think maybe even, I might even add this little guy we did off to the side. So at this point I've covered it over a little bit with where the sticky is. So I'm going to go in and add a little more glue on the back here. Pop that back on so it sticks up a tiny bit. And we'll pop that one on to the edge. There we go. Got a little bit more mounting foam down here, and you can give that a second to set up. Bring in our background and add just a tiny bit more glue over it since we've covered some of that mounting foam. Pop that in, center these so it goes right into the middle of our opening there. Move them around, and if you'd like to have them a little more supported, a little bit of glue. Just get it a second to set up. There we go. And there you have it. You've got a card that's Very, very pretty, almost a white on white, just a little pop of color, almost clean and simple, and you can use this for just about any occasion you like.